right now. Not everyone has this, that's okay. I think most of you are almost there anyways, at least marking it and about to true it, correct? Already done with this step. Now we're gonna do bias back. Now the thing with bias back, you do, usually when you're draping bias, you have to do the whole thing. It's the same situation that you did in the front. You do one side, and then you copy it to the other. If it's symmetrical, if it's asymmetrical, then it's different. So for me, you don't have to, I'm gonna change the neckline here because my cowl neckline is in the princess thing, right? I'm now gonna do a basic neckline. I can do a high neckline. But I am gonna do like a little V, just because why not? You're allowed to do whatever you want. You can do it really, really low, really, really high. Just one caveat though, if you make it really low, and I'm looking at you, Erica. Remind yourself, she needs to wear it, and tape can only do so much, okay? You're saying. All right, so I'm just gonna do like, this should control your shoulders a bit. Now, some people might make it even lower. Like I will say when that happens, then how does it stay in the shoulders when everything's so, like if you make it super low. Sometimes they even put elastic on the shoulder to make sure that it stays put. Because any remove, no bueno. Or what they do too is they make it really, really, really low and they put a little string here. I think you've seen that. Like a little spaghetti strap that connects it. This way, if the person's moving, nothing's coming out. That being said, also, there are times they even reinforce it with more fabric, meaning this section might be heavier, like maybe 2 layers instead of 1 layer in the front. This way, the weight is just helping it, right? Or the other way is making sure your waist is so fitted that it's not budging. It's all about fit at this point. So right now we're just gonna do a very simple V-neck for me. You can decide scoopy, you can scoop it out. That being said too, like another thing you have to remind yourself how she's gonna get in it. So I will say you can put a zipper on bias, but good luck, okay? Usually I'm not saying you shouldn't, I'm just saying, you know how, Ramcha, you know how your dress moved, like the zipper was moving around the seams? That happens twice as much in bias. So that when that happens, you might have to reinforce it, you might have to like baste it. And usually in bias, you try not to cut it in the middle because then you ruin the whole look. They usually put the zipper on the side. But there are ways to actually go about it. I think for me, if the waist wasn't so fitted, the person might be able to like wiggle inside, you know, just wiggle. All right, so this is where we are. Don't mind my cutting. I measure wrong. Okay, I'm measuring correctly. Sorry. Your squares will look better than mine. I just need a 45-degree angle. The same. We're gonna do the same steps. You know, with your hands, we're gonna just press the edges to just show. And we're just gonna mark it the best way possible. It's okay if it's not super straight. It just needs to look like we can follow. And like I said, mine's not a perfect square because I measure wrong. I don't know, I was looking at the measuring tape incorrectly. So, okay. And believe it or not, this is gonna be very simple, guys. I'm not gonna torture you that much. We all remember how to do a basic bodice. We did it so many times last semester. So same thing, we're gonna make sure, this is by eyeing it. We're gonna eye things a lot more now. We're gonna make sure when we bring this fabric up, when we cut and slash it, it's enough to do a shoulder seam, right? And same thing, right now this is more than enough. And look how long this is. Like it covers my waist. I know that, like it covers this section, correct? Okay. So then, I'm gonna do the same steps that I did in the other one. I'm gonna find this, I'm gonna find the middle. And I'm gonna match my line to the center. Same thing. What is this? Now, if in a perfect world, we're gonna make believe what I'm doing is that there's not gonna be a seam in the back. There's gonna be a seam in the side seam, and my invisible zipper's gonna look amazing. Okay, that's all we're gonna be assuming. Everything's gonna look amazing. I had no issues, so that's why I'm doing a side zipper. But there are ways for you to do bias, and you put like a zipper here. The problem is like it looks a little bulky sometimes, so just be careful with that. If once you start designing, so same thing here. What do we do with this? We just cut it because we don't need it, right? You can already see how it takes easily the shape. You don't have to do that much. You just need to slash it. Unlike before where we were working with straight grain, bias is a lot more forgiving. And like I said, you don't even need to do one, you only need to do one side, guys. Just have that pin, it's fine. And already you can see it. It's so much easier. You just need to make sure you match your straps and your neckline. You just added that to what you need to. So sometimes you need to go a little bit more than that because the same thing. You need to be careful not to make you need to be careful on not making any issues. You don't want to move the line. So right now, this is what's bothering me. I don't need this much fabric, and you're just gonna cut it. Just to help us out. Yeah, that's better. And then, okay. Yeah, that's already forming its shape. Right? So then, yeah, look at that already. You just pull and pin where I pin usually where I'm marking. I don't have to think so much that way. Okay? I realized I did the other side instead of the right side. It's okay. Just make sure like you follow the one that has the tape. Okay? I just did that because I didn't notice. But anyways, this is the section where you just slash into the waist, not passing the side seam. Same thing. You take your hands and you smooth it out. Right? Right there. I think we can even do more than that. And this is where you start playing. I think I noticed some of you with the cowl neckline, you notice that sometimes slashing even more, even though you don't feel like it feels natural to slash that much. Like you're just taking fabric to mold it. So then same thing, slash and make it smooth. No, make it smooth. And then use it. That's it. That's all you do. And what you're gonna do, the most important part though, is making sure your lines of your shoulder match this. So in other words, if your shoulder is 2 inches at the end, like my shoulder right now, if my total shoulder right now is at 3.5, this needs to be 3.5, because you're sewing it together. And it might look weird sometimes, but that's just what's happening with what we're doing. So we just mark it. We just mark it because she's straight. She's gonna be straight. And then there you go. I'm just gonna mark it. And remember, I left this drape so I can match my armhole too. That's what we learned last year too. You leave your drape so you can match your points. And you don't have to second guess yourself so much, right? Okay. And this. That's it. And then we're gonna mark our neckline. It's a V-neck. And I will say if I were to do this in real life, meaning make the simple, right? I would just, and you take it out and you're gonna trim it. If I were making this, I will have to put a facing here. Either facing or I will double layer this and then sandwich the strap. Which some of you did learn how to sandwich things. It felt like I was doing like chemistry or something sometimes with that. It's not my favorite thing, but it does give you really clean edges. Alright, so now looking at this, it looks similar. Like, you notice that your waist is curving down. You notice like how it's just more curved. There's more curve to it. That's because you're pulling more on the fabric. So same thing here. This is a lot more straightforward. So after this, like, then the lesson is basically done for bias. It's just you trying. You can even do a basic bodice for your project if you want. Bias, it looks pretty. Actually, bias looks really pretty with any satin finishes. Anything shiny looks really pretty in bias. Meaning like chiffon, charmeuse. Charmeuse looks beautiful. Looks really expensive. Has anyone seen Atonement, that green dress that she wears? That Keira Knightley wears. I'll show it to you in the pictures later. It's all bias. That's why it looks like it's clinging on her. I'll show it to you later. So this way you know what I mean. 1930s is usually the time period where bias was used a lot, yes, because it was one of the few ways to seam fabric together without looking bulky, because there were so many rations of fabric, right? So yeah. I just want to make sure. Yeah, so then, yes, this is a little better. Okay, good. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I have the correct measurement. This is 2.5. We're good. We're good. Because you cannot have this shorter. So, yeah, this is 3. Okay. And same thing here. This is a V-neck. That's it. And what you're gonna do is the same thing that you did in the other one. You're gonna fold it in half. You can do this technique like I was mentioning to you guys, only when it's symmetrical. If it's asymmetrical, you have to drape the whole thing. Oops, I forgot to put seam allowance in the shoulder. I have 1/2 inch right now just because I don't want it to be bulky. Since mine had like really big pleats, so yeah. So there you go. Like I said, if this were, I was making the garment, I might have to put a facing. facing all throughout the armhole and this way to clean it, to make sure this is clean. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put it right here. Yeah, it's facing that way. We're good. So then, just gonna pin it really quick. Remember, all our seam allowances face the back, and all our pins are facing the back too. Okay? That's okay. Don't make the same mistake that I did. I didn't. I noticed too late that I didn't do the correct side that needs to be marked, but I don't know. It's Wednesday. It's not be fun. For our video's sake, we're just gonna like do that. And cut off. You see that? Like it's, I need to repin it nicely, but you see how smooth that is right now? Like after I pin it, that's all you have to do. I'm gonna pin this better for you guys to see, okay? That's it.